Zaza Laboom asks, social media, obviously highly distracting. How do you limit it yet still engage with getting the word out about your music?
So this is a very good question. So Arash, why don't you? We've done a lot of coaching around this, haven't we? I've been
Yes.
coaching Arash for a good few years, and it's a recurring thing. I mean, it's not just Arash. Let's face it. It's half of the planet probably. So what would you recommend?
The biggest thing, and you've brought this up. Also, you brought it up in the Leap, that there's a difference between using social media and social media using you. And so depending on how deep you are into the addiction of social media, depending on the level of addiction you have with social media can kind of dictate things you can do. So if you are like super deep into it and it wastes a good chunk of time out of your day, deleting it entirely from your phone would be a great start. And that was something that I had done while we were coaching. It was one of Mike's suggestions, and it made a difference. It was literally like delete it from your phone, and when you have to post something, download it, post, take it out.
Add friction.
What's that?
Add friction.
Add friction.
The things you
Add friction, exactly. The opposite of remove friction. Add friction. Yeah.
Another alternative is to get like a planner, one of those like Planoly or Iconosquare or something that can Hootsuite, something that can automate posting for you where you don't have to engage with the app itself. So it's about what can you do to create distance between yourself and the app. And depending on where you are on the addiction scale of things, you have a couple different options.
Yeah. Something else that you can do, those are all great suggestions, Arash, and I hope you're doing that as well.
Yes.
So it's something else that you can do, and this is something that I do, although now I actually dread opening up Facebook and stuff like that. I just don't do it. I actually had to I had to join a group in order to go to a music producer meetup. I just moved to this new area, and I'm going to go to a music producer meetup in a couple of days. So I had to join a Facebook group, and I was like, oh, could I open up Facebook? So I'm kind of lucky in that I don't, the opposite of an addiction, I've got a dread of it. So, but something that you can do, because I had a problem with email at one time, is that you can just for one thing, turn off all notifications, other than the ones that you set for yourself. Yeah, so that's the first thing. Like just get rid of them. I've been saying this for years. Just turn off those bloody notifications. Number one. Number two, check the social sites on your schedule, not on when somebody else tells you to do something. Yeah. Hey. I mean, when you think about it, it's sheer insanity, right? It's like, how are you ever meant to do anything if something is always tapping on your shoulder? I mean, I've got an Apple Watch, I've got a phone, I've got all of these things, but I just don't have anything notifying me other than the notifications I set for myself, right? So I've got past Mike notifying me that I'm supposed to do this thing, but I haven't got someone else notifying me that I'm supposed to do this thing. And then I check what I need to check on my schedule when it works for me. So after I've done my creative work, when I'm tired, when I'm probably not going to do anything else useful. And I just do that. Well, I don't do it every day because I don't use it very much. But that is how I would suggest that you kind of manage the social media use in your own time. This is going to involve talking to the people who expect you to be at their beck and call every second of the day. You're going to have to say, look, I'm doing this thing. It's with this bald bloke from Australia with glasses, and seems to be talking quite a lot of sense. So he's told me that I need to turn off my notifications, that I'm going to check on a certain schedule. So you're going to have to expect that I'm not going to be as available as I was, but I will get back to you because I'm going to check it at least twice, once, 3 times, however many times a day. Okay, so this is also about training other people. You've got to train yourself and train other people.
I think one thing too that am I good to say something?
You can always talk.
One thing One thing I did was take like a 30-day break or even like a week break where you don't check at all, and kind of have that baseline to kind of see like, okay, what is checking this kind of doing to my mental state? And you'll find, I mean, or maybe you won't, but for me, it was like, oh, I'm like much more relaxed. It's kind of like an elimination diet where for like, 8 weeks, you cut out all these different foods and then slowly introduce them. So I cut out everything and then slowly introduce, and then you have this baseline of like feeling pretty good, typically, because with social media, you're just like, I'm like,
yeah, the FOMO machine. Yeah, it's like Facebook is the anger machine and Instagram is the FOMO machine. It's like, so yeah, no. I mean, I did that too. I actually tested the other way because I've never really done it so much, and I tested the other way. So I tested starting doing it, and it was incredible the difference in my mental state between the two.
It's insane.
I mean, like it was night and day. I was just like this, when I was on it, and when I was off it, it was just like I could focus. So
yeah, it's like you can do things and it's like making music is like maybe a little less like stimulating, and that you're not getting this like hit every 30 seconds, but it is like more pleasant when you don't have that desire for that hit every 5 seconds.
Yeah, yeah. No, exactly.
It's like a more pleasurable activity.
Yeah, and I mean, the other thing that really, really shocks me in the Leap, so we do a music project and you finish, you set your own music project, and over the 6 weeks in training, you had to use the automatic music machine on, in the last, I think, is it 2 weeks or last week? I've really put I say, right, there's a deadline, you're going to hit it, right? What can you remove? How much time can you get from your life in order to hit this deadline? And I give this particular kind of frame around it. I kind of get them, get the leapers to imagine that they're doing, that they're doing it for a very specific thing. There's an amazing artist and they've asked you to do this and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So it's that kind of thing. So what time can you get back? And I get them to post in the Slack community, how much time they've got back. And it absolutely amazes me, some of the amounts of time that people are getting back. 20 hours a week, 15 hours a week. And I'm just like, oh, just imagine what you could do if you actually did that, or at least even a fraction of it all of the time. And for the majority of people, it is social media that is eating up their lives. And there is a way of using it and not letting it use you.